If you're watching this video, then chances are working on your business feels like walking through fire. It gets so painful whenever you sit down to work that 5 minutes into your deep work session, you give up, you go on YouTube and you start scrolling. And after hours of being in this constant cycle of just procrastination every single day, you decide to finally just quit the business because you say the business model isn't working, it's oversaturated. And you only go back to the business if you feel motivation or you watch a motivational reel by David Goggins. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the replicable system that I've gave to hundreds of entrepreneurs that have completely changed their productivity so you can do the same. This has allowed them to get into a focused flow state for 6+ hours every single day and actually find peace in working hard. You see, I remember around last year, December 2024, I was 6 months into my first business model, which was called copywriting, and at this point I'd basically be doing it every single day. Every single day I would show up, work for like 2 hours, clock out, and then just do the same the next day. And you would probably think after 6 months of working on this business model, half a year, I would have at least landed my first client. I would have, made money online. That didn't happen. Because 6 months in, I wasn't actually celebrating my wins. I was sitting at my desk, writing in my journal, contemplating whether I should quit the business model or not. You see, I saw all these people winning, all these beginners winning in these new business models that were coming out, like the AI automation agency. What the hell is that, bro? Because deep down, I believed that the reason why I wasn't seeing success in my business as an entrepreneur was simply because the business model was oversaturated. It was simply because every single time I sat down to work, it felt like I was walking through hell. I would get these random bursts of motivation, so I'd sit at my desk and 5 minutes would go by and I would be on YouTube, I'd be scrolling, and the entire day I did literally no work. And I know that for a fact this is a problem you're facing right now, but literally just imagine how much money I could have made if I didn't face this problem. Imagine if I solved this problem. And this is exactly what I'm going to tell you to do and show you how to do in this video. You see, the only reason right now why when you sit down to work, it feels like you're going through hell is because of something called mental resistance. And mental resistance is why things like distractions, procrastination, coping mechanisms exist. It's because tasks become so painful that our brain wants to go to other things instead. It tries to numb the pain through these things. And this is why so many people who try to improve their productivity don't. It's because they focus on solving a symptom, which is, fixing their distractions or fixing procrastination, when really the problem is the mental resistance. Because one of two things can happen when you sit down to work, and I want to use an analogy where basically it's like a pill, right? Let's imagine I'm holding 2 pills in my hand. You've got the red one, which is you actually sitting down to work, but when you work, it feels like hell. But when you take this red pill, all you do is numb the pain via distractions, via procrastination, and you don't actually get any work done. Or you can take the blue pill, which basically kills your soul. You're forced to run through this fire, this hell. And the thing is, you don't really have an option in which one you choose, because your brain is always going to choose this red pill. Your brain is always going to take the path of least resistance, and if you do not change this, if you do not switch your perception, the work, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do in a minute, you will never be able to complete this work and actually focus for more than 5 minutes. But the reason why this mental resistance actually exists in every single person nowadays, especially in like the Gen Z, is because every single person's comfort zone is super small. Nobody has really accomplished that much, and maybe there's like 1% of people in this generation have actually done something good, but most people haven't really achieved any goals. Every single year they say they're going to go to the gym, but they don't. Every single year they're going to say they start the business, but they don't. But think about like Alexander the Great, for example. Think about this beast who literally conquered half the world in like, I don't know, by the age of 20. Do you really think Alexander the Great was facing any resistance at all? No. But most 20-year-olds nowadays, they've only conquered the world in a video game. They've only played GTA and got their dream life in there instead of getting it in real life. But just know the reason why this mental resistance exists is simply because of the tiny comfort zone we're meant to have, we're prescribed to have in this modern generation. And by the way, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to get into a flow state for 10 to 12 hours every single day so you can blow up your business and solve this problem of mental resistance, click the first link in the description to join my free community. So to actually solve mental resistance and take the blue pill instead of the red pill, there's a 3-step process you need to follow. So the first step, step 1, is to actually adjust your brain to the pain of working and actually sitting at your desk. You see, if you've ever seen those Muay Thai fighters, the ones that can literally just kick a metal pole and just nothing happens, they're basically just painless, right? They don't feel pain. The only reason they can do that is simply because they've done it so many times that repetition leads it to being basically painless. And this is exactly how we need to think about our work, because once you actually build a habit inside of your subconscious mind, which normally takes around 28 days to do, or 30 days, that is when you can literally work for however long you want. And this is exactly how you achieve that state where you find peace in actually working hard, and you find like pain when you're actually doing like the short-term gratification habits, right? So the first thing you must do is simply just start small. Start by setting a 5-minute timer to work on your business, and simply just do that for a few days, and you can start to do like 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, right? Because when you immediately jump to like working for 10 hours a day when you're working 0 beforehand, that is why it feels like you're walking through hell, because your brain cannot adapt to that. It's not inside its comfort zone, right? But this is exactly how we counter this problem. We simply start small and progressively overload the time that we're working, okay? So don't have this expectation that you're going to work for 10 hours every single day, because that will ruin basically your entire life. Simply just have the goal right now, if you're super undisciplined, of working for 30 minutes every single day. That's all you need to do. Now the second step of this process to actually find peace in working hard on your business is by improving your decision making in a day. Because I just want you to think of two people for a second. Let's imagine person A. Person A has lots of brain fog, so he can't think straight. So every single time he goes to sit down to work, he for some reason finds more positive rewards with playing CSGO with his Russian friends than actually working on his business and actually making money online. But now let's imagine the second person, person B, who has basically no brain fog. He has his perfect diet, he basically eats no carbs in a day, so he doesn't get carb crashes and he can actually focus on his work. Well, every single time his brain gets the urge to go on YouTube or go on video games or go on a distraction, he remembers it's just the mental resistance. He realizes it's just a smoke screen, so he gets back to work and he just focuses. Because the thing is, I need you to understand the work that you do on your business isn't hard. How is moving your fingers on the keyboard, moving your fingers on a mouse or a laptop hard? If we think of the task like this, it's not hard. It's just what we perceive it to be. It's just a mental perception of the work that makes it so difficult to accomplish. So there's two things I do and I've done to achieve better decision making in my business, in my life. Firstly, you need to make sure you're meditating consistently. I like to meditate in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes, and I know a lot of people will say you need to meditate for an hour, but bro, I don't have time for that, mate. I've got to work on my business, right? So that's the first thing you can do. To meditate, simply sit down with your back straight, close your eyes, focus on the breath, and do a series of deep breaths. So I like to do like 50 over the span of like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or however long that takes. And when you lose focus on the breath, simply gain consciousness and redirect your focus. That's basically like one bicep curl. Chances are you already know how to read, so I'm not going to show you that, okay? Now the second thing you need to do, and I already mentioned this in person B, but you need to make sure you optimize your diet to actually work. But basically, in short, you should avoid all carbs in a day. And what happens is when you're working, your brain uses most of its energy, most of its focus on digesting that food instead of actually focusing on the work. So that's why you feel super tired after you eat like bread, pasta, stuff like that, right? So what you need to do is just avoid all carbs. Like, bro, if you literally just try that for a day, you'll realize what I'm talking about, and you realize how bad carbs are for you. Now the last step is very simple, and it's just a simple mindset shift, because you got to realize the walking through fire, the only time it feels like that is for the first 5 minutes. After the first 5 minutes, it's super easy because your brain gets numb. It conditions itself to realize that the work is actually super easy. It's like, damn, we thought this would be super hard, but it's actually easy. So you start to focus, you start to work hard. So simply just have the mindset, if you can set a timer for 5 minutes instead of 45 minutes and just get through that first, you'll be able to work, because that creates a positive feedback loop. So you know you're more likely to do more productive things in a day, because the brain is always going to magnify the task as soon as you start it, as soon as you take action. So that's basically the entire process I've used to destroy my mental resistance. Promise you, if you just replicate that, and you'll be able to work like an insane entrepreneur. So like I said in the video, if you're an entrepreneur who wants to get into a flow state for 6 to 12 hours every single day and blow up your business, click the first link in the description to join my free community. Okay, goodbye, have a nice day. You'll get out on your face again. Goodbye.